See, there's a... You about that? Okay. See, those would be the ones. The bulbs must be out now.
Yeah.
Should we see ourselves on the camera? Okay.
I mean, I can see us on there too.
And make sure, like when someone joins,
Yeah.
you know, make sure you give their
Say
name.
something.
You know, because I've worked probably with a lot of these people. Well, not much. But, you know, there's Kilo and Oyster Jack. Oh, okay, well, you caught it. And there's still that latency. That's it. Excuse me. I want my horizontal stripes. We're good?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Watch me log out. It's like one for the whole time. Well, we talk to ourselves. Right? If that's what happens, we talk to ourselves.
Well, you just play it off and edit it and post it later. You're like, what a great show.
Yeah.
It's like a Diego team.
Yeah. So are you going to be able to see that from your chart? Yeah, I mean, I think I had 8 people for last night's premiere. So
Yeah, and they all come on late.
they usually wait. Like, yeah, I mean, sometimes they're on late.
Got one.
So we are live. We're live?
We're live.
We are?
Live from Buffalo. It's Wednesday night.
It's Wednesday night.
All right. So we have about a minute, and we'll start our show.
Who do we have on? Can we see?
No, until somebody says something.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
We got 2 viewers and 1 mic. All right, it's 8 o'clock.
All right.
All right, Shane, you want to introduce
Oh,
us?
all right. Wow. Okay. We hope that we're live, everybody. There is a lag we've noticed here of about 5 seconds, and we hope that you can actually hear us. All right. We are actually in our museum building, which is pretty cavernous. So if there's any trouble that you can't hear us or we're too echoey, you know, please leave us a comment. All right. So I guess we have a couple people on. You said.
Yeah, Mr. Yex just wrote to us. He said the audio sounds good.
Okay.
And he also wants us to teach him some Navy stuff.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll do our best. Hey, Ken, how are you? Ken Stano from History X. We developed a great relationship, and I'll give you a shout out again when we need to, or a little bit later in the broadcast. So I'm Shane. Hello, everyone. I'm Shane Stevenson.
And Steven Tedesco,
Wow.
Director of Education.
Yes, director. We practiced that about 12 times.
Well, only because Shane needed 11.
Very good. I like that. So we're looking at Ed McMahon, Johnny Carson sort of situation here, but not really. So thanks for being here. We're happy to have you. We're going to be bringing you these live videos every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern for the month of February for our 28 and 28. So hopefully you've watched our first introductory video yesterday, and then tomorrow we'll have another video talking a little bit about the fire control systems on the USS Little Rock, which I haven't done very much of in the past. So it's going to be really good. I'm going to be spending a lot of time in that aft superstructure on the USS Little Rock, talking about what made her a Galveston-class cruiser as opposed to a Cleveland-class cruiser. So I thought that we would In addition to those, I have my notes, all right?
As always.
I'll also be doing throughout this month, I'll be doing the radio rooms on the Sullivans. We'll be doing Shaft Alley, and I think I've scheduled that for the last one of the month because that's pretty exciting on USS Little Rock. I'll be doing a comparison with the Cod and the Croaker, which is pretty cool because a viewer has asked about comparing SS-224 with SSK-246, so I'll do that. I'm certainly going to go into the Missile House, and I'm going to do 3 days in a row of the Missile House because it's such a large space. I'll talk a little bit about the Liberty incident with the USS Little Rock, and I'm covering the sick bays on all 3 of our vessels. So that's a little highlight of some of the videos that we'll be doing throughout the rest of the month. And then again, every Wednesday we're going live, all right, at 8 p.m. So Ken, thank you for being here. For all the others, if you want to leave us a comment so we know who you are, that would be great. Stephen, Director of Education, is diligently checking the laptop here. So
yeah, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just making sure we acknowledge everybody that's here, so I will be looking over at the computer. Hoist the Jack says, hey, everyone.
Hey, Hoist, how are you? Sometimes people call him Jack, sometimes I call him Hoist, right? So, and he's actually a guy that might be visiting soon. So, welcome, Hoist the Jack.
Welcome. We have Husky Studios.
Oh, Husky Studios. Hello, Husky Studios. How are you?
So definitely engage with us, ask us some questions that we can talk about here while we're live, watching the chat box as we do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess maybe a good introduction. Some of you know me via the videos, but you might not know my backstory a little bit. So I actually have a master's degree in library science with a concentration in archiving. All right, so that's how I started working here. I've worked at a prior museum for 5 years, and I was doing exhibiting for an organization that I'm involved with, and they needed someone to put up exhibits around the city here in Buffalo, and the Director of Museum Collections job opened up, and I applied in early 2018. Probably my interview was right around now, back in 2018, and I've been here ever since. Which really, Steve, I can't believe it because it's really, when people say, how long have you been at the Naval Park? I say like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
But it's only been 4.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not even 4, it'll be 4 next month. But it's like, my God, we accomplished so much stuff here. It just seems like it's many more years than it actually is.
Yeah, I know how that is. I mean, so I started as an intern. I got my master's in Museum Studies in the Anthropology Department at the University of Buffalo. Shane graciously let me be his intern.
Yeah, I don't even believe this now.
January 2019, and then again in this 2021,
yeah,
which led to a job opening on the maintenance team, which I was very thankful for, and I was able to make my way up after I graduated, and now I am Director of Education. And Shane and I have a lot of fun doing these videos, so a lot of the times I'm there, I'm behind the camera.
Yeah, that's true. Where he should be.
Yeah.
Zing.
No, but for radio, right?
So do I. So the Director of Education job really is, he's going to be working the encampments. So we're hopeful that in 2022 we can start our encampment season again. And that's where Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts and youth groups come on board and they spend the night on the Little Rock. Obviously, we couldn't do that in 2020 or 2021, and we lost a really large revenue stream. And but now he's taking that over, and then also working with teachers and school systems to kind of build modules, right?
Yeah, so we're working on a couple different things. Just kind of exploring it right now, but something we're looking at is cryptology, and also something along with the space program, possibly, which we think would be fun, and introduce our students to Space Force, which,
yes,
if you don't know what that is, it's the newest branch of the military. They came off of the Air Force branch, which I believe was started in the 1940s, and then
right after
like a program in 1982. Okay, I could be totally wrong, so if I am, please let me know. We do have a couple people talking History X is looking forward to doing an overnight. Seneca Nero says it's a little too late for him. He might fall asleep, not because we're bored.
Okay, good. Seneca Nero? Yes, hello, Seneca Nero. Let's hope. So maybe you're on the East Coast, or maybe you're in, well, if you're in Britain, that would be too late. We get a few viewers from Britain, Australia.
1947, Place of Jackson. So, yeah,
Yes.
space program. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
that's all right. That's all right. Because, yeah, during World War II, the Air Force was under the Army. Right? It was the Army Air Corps. And then in 47, I believe they branched off into their own. And, you know, we do fly the 5 branch flags here in, at the Buffalo Naval Park, but I keep saying, you know what, we got to get that 6th flag. We got to get the Space Force flag. Right?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great way to engage with kids.
Yeah.
Kids are always interested in space and astronomy, and it's kind of cool to think that kids will be able to do Star Trek stuff in the near future.
That's right. Beam me up. That's true. And I think, again, we're just talking off the cuff here, everybody, but I think Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek, was in the Navy. So he used a lot of the Navy principles on his show, like, you know, sick bay and mess deck and, you know, captain's logs and, you know, things like that. So I think he used a lot of his Navy experience in the Star Trek, but that is neither here nor there. So we can talk about what's going on this coming season. And besides the 28 and 28 videos, I'm also working on new signage for all of the ships. So when people come on board, it's, you know, the flow is a little bit better. The continuity of the signs make it a little easier for our visitors. So I'll be working on that in the off season. You know, and then some things that I'll talk about in the future videos that we've been working on.
So you're going to be bringing back Curator tours and deck talks for 2022, right?
Yes, yeah. Thank you. Yes, Stephen. So 2021 was the first time we did Curator tours. If you're fans of the Battleship New Jersey, he does Curator tours as well, and I'm sure other museum ships do. But these would be behind-the-scenes tours. So I'll be establishing the schedule. I haven't not done that yet, but that will be a 2-hour, 2.5-hour tour, about $50 a ticket, and then you walk with me around some of the behind-the-scenes spaces that the average visitor wouldn't see. Also doing deck talks, which is where at certain times throughout the season I'm standing on the deck and talking about some sort of historical event or a situation that either happened with our ships or, you know, in World War II itself or other conflicts. So we'll schedule both the Curator tours and the deck talks for the website as we get closer to opening on March 26th of 2022.
Yeah, and we'd love to have you down here, but if you can't make it, if you live somewhere else in the country or somewhere else in the world, we will be live streaming the deck talks, so you can check them out every time we do them. And Shane doesn't like being in 4K apparently. But we do have some questions, so I'm going to...
Yeah, let's roll.
Well, first, Seneca Nero said he has a controversial opinion. Space Force should use Navy terminology, meaning submarine stuff. What do you think?
You know what? I don't even know enough about Space Force to answer that question, Seneca Nero. I don't know how the branch is divided up or anything like that. I haven't done much research into that. But so does he have a follow-up? Like how is it set up? Like, you know, via departments and things like that. Maybe if he can answer that, that would be, we might be able to get back to that.
Yeah, for sure. Seneca Nero also says he's looking forward to probably coming in 2025. He lives across the pond, he says, so I'm assuming England.
Oh yeah, I mean that's why it's too late for you. Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, that would make sense. So now we understand. So Husky Studios wants to know if we're changing anything with the overnight program. I'm glad you brought that up because we are bringing it back this year, first time since 2019. And it's going to be similar, but we are hopefully adding a little bit more hands-on activities and a little bit of a curriculum to just really engage more than we have in the past. Not that there's anything wrong with what we did in the past, but we're kind of turning a corner to more of a program where we really want to have lesson plans and curriculums and involve the schools eventually. So that's something we are working on. We are starting April 30th for the encampment programs. Just because of COVID, we pushed it up a little bit, but we will be open this year for encampment, so we are very, very excited about that. And
yeah, and having Stephen on board is really instrumental because the encampments for the last 40 years, they've been watch Major Payne and eat on the mess deck and go to bed and roam around the ship. All right, so there wasn't, now you talked about cryptology, not making, whatever there might be, so there'll actually be like a curriculum that some might watch a movie or eat while half is getting the curriculum, or learning something, so.
Yeah, so I'm really excited for this year's encampment series and program. So
it's cool. Now he's going to have to stay on board a couple of nights.
I know. Well, I have already. So
you did. That's right. But going back to Seneca and Euro,
yeah.
Right? You're across the pond. Hopefully you're still with us. I don't know if you're in London, but the HMS Belfast, that's a beautiful ship right there in the Thames River. And, maybe we were talking about that. I see all the comments. So maybe that was you we were talking about that ship. And in the pool of the Thames, I think it was, someone mentioned. And I said, I don't even know what the pool of the Thames is. But beautiful ship, beautiful city. I love England, even though I'm of Irish descent. I love England. So there it is. Yeah.
All right, so Hoist Jack wants to know if we can have movie nights on the Fantail.
Oh.
Little Rock. Bring your own chairs and watch In Harm's Way. I would pay $30 to come aboard and watch that. That's
Wow.
Interesting.
We want you to pay $35, bro.
Yeah.
So.
And we'll provide the chair.
Yeah, no, we've talked about that. There are some, I don't remember what ship it is offhand. Maybe the Midway does like a Top Gun night. And I think we really, in my heart of hearts, I would love to have a Twilight Zone night and show the 10 or 11 episodes that have to deal with World War II or conflicts themselves, and then have a discussion afterwards. I would love to see us do a Twilight Zone night. And then it becomes this thing every year. There's a Twilight Zone night. We can't show all 11 episodes, but you show 2 or 3, and then you can have a really cool discussion. I love the Twilight Zone, and just those episodes based on, Rod Serling's experiences, or just conflicts in war in general. They just add such an awesome spin and very thought-provoking too. So I would love to do that as well.
We're getting a little off topic here, but I'm going to throw in towards the Twilight Zone because
all right.
So I don't want to upset the viewers.
No, go ahead.
Have you watched Black Mirror?
Oh, I have watched that. I not in a long time.
But it's kind of like a modern, futuristic version of Twilight Zone. Some great episodes.
It is. You're very true. If you haven't watched, but I don't even know if it's on anymore.
It's on Netflix.
Still? They're still doing
recent
episodes and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. No, I used to watch that. There's some great, very thought-provoking episodes on that too.
Yeah. I know I'm getting off topic.
No, that's all right.
But that's what these are for. Okay, someone asked.
Hi, someone.
Ken from History X. What are the ambient temps in the ships right now?
Oh, thank you for that question. Let's say it will be different, like in my office and things like that, in the Admiral's quarters, it is comfortable, right? It's a balmy 70 or whatever, 65, 70. As soon as you go out into spaces that are not heated, it is just about 5 to 10 degrees warmer than it is outside. All right, so I'll be working, say, in my collection areas that unfortunately are not temperature controlled, and I can see my breath a little bit when I'm in there, and even 5 or 10 minutes, you're ready to get back into your office. So it does hinder sometimes the work you can do on board, right? Like painting, you can't really do painting in like certain temperatures. So this is the time now, and that's on Little Rock. On the Sullivans, she's mostly cold. There's very few spaces that are heated, maybe only Tomato Pie's office. Hello, Tomato Pie. All right, love him. Andrew Biondo, the caretaker, his office is heated, but we've got 440 heaters as well. But some of those spaces, like the engine rooms and the boiler rooms, are so large that those 440s don't really work very well. So, they work, but they don't really heat the space very well. So I would say if it's 20 degrees out, it's probably 25 to 30 on board those unheated spaces.
That's actually when I started interning for you. You remember that?
Yeah.
It was January, and I had probably 3 jackets on. You gave me a space heater probably this big.
Yeah.
Which did absolutely nothing. I had gloves on going through archives and boxes.
Right. And if you've watched that dewatering video, where we go behind the Korean compartment, where there's the Korean display right now, and the mannequin, all right, that's where I put it.
Yeah.
So
there is no heat there in
no
January.
heat, barely any light, but hey, he did a great job. You know, and a couple of the other internships or the other interns that I've had since I've started here, they've been fabulous and really helpful.
Yeah, and we have an intern right now working in the education department. He's doing a fantastic job, and she was the one that came up with the cryptology.
Oh, great! Yeah,
which Paul and I love. So
awesome. Yeah, I've met her once, I think, very briefly, or maybe didn't even know she was your intern. But so I don't really see her on site too much. You're working with her.
She doesn't. She works remotely. So
yeah. Okay. Good.
Paul had. She works on the landscaping committee. She comes and volunteers her time there. So she works remotely.
Okay.
And just kind of helps us out with that.
Okay. Good. Other questions?
Yeah. Oh, this one's not a question, but it's
a statement, sir.
I 3D printed a Fletcher class destroyer. Pretty cool. Working on designing a Cleveland class and the Croker. I hope I'll be able to visit this summer. I'll leave a comment when I find out. If I come, would you like me to bring it? And that's Husky Studios.
Oh, Husky Studios, thank you so much. That's very cool. We don't have access to a 3D printer. I've never seen one live, but now if you're talking maybe to donate or just to be able to show it, I'd be really interested in seeing it. I won't ask you if you want to donate it, you know, give it to us, right? But I would, but it would be, or we'll take it. But I would be very interested to see the detail level, right? So if you're going to do, again, for the Sullivans, she had she had her original configuration, a 1945 configuration, and a 1959 configuration. All right, so she's kind of, she's a beautiful Frankenstein, I'd like to say, because she's kind of a mashup, and most of our other vessels are mashups as well, right? Because they had such long service. So it's not like the Kid or, say, the USS Alabama that had its finite life. They kept it in that configuration and never modified them. So it'd be interesting to see what you're doing. If you're doing a Cleveland class, the traditional one with the 4 turrets and I think the 6 5-inch gun mounts. So that would be interesting. Or if you're doing the 5-inch mounts on a Fletcher, or like ours, we only have the 4, as you've probably heard. But yeah, I would be, or the Croker even, right? In her SSK conversion, Hunter Killer, or her original Gato class. Love to see what you come up with. That would be great.
So Ken from History X, is your office is on the ship, not on shore?
My office is, yes, my office is on board the USS Little Rock. All right, it's wonderful in the summertime. It's kind of poopy in the wintertime, but
it can get warm in the summer too.
It can get warm in the summer too, yeah. So I only was covering the cold with a Ken from History's X. And this gets me to History X channel. All right, Ken Stano, he and I have worked so well together. We did a USS Johnston video, what happened in Mount 2 or Mount 52. He did a video and it's really skyrocketed on his channel, and giving a shout out to him. He's in Minnesota, and he's been doing a lot on the PBY Catalinas and things like that. So if you are a fan of ours and subscribe to ours, please check out the History X channel on YouTube. And you know, he's got a lot of great videos. And we hope to get him down and do one of those dirtiest job episodes, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's, you know, that's the name of the show, right? Dirtiest Jobs.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. So Ken, get ready, because I do have a project for you in the anchor windlass on the USS Little Rock.
All right, so Zanan, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Smith.
Yeah.
If we're throwing out questions, which we are, anybody has a question, please. Could you answer what the cupola on the torpedo tube is for?
The what?
Cupola. C-E-O-L-A.
A-L-A?
O-L-A.
The cupola on the torpedo tubes?
Yes.
Boy, you have me at a loss here. Cupola on the torpedo tubes. You know what? I'm going to have to research that, Zanon Smith. Usually cupola is something on the top, right? Like the cupola on the Great Northern, right? Is that top on the grain elevator. But no, off the bat, I am not familiar with that. I'm sorry. I'll do a little more research into that. And one of the videos is an in-depth video of the croaker. Someone was asking for that, a viewer. So I will make sure I have a note to comment to check that out, because I am not familiar. In my 4 years here, I've never heard anyone mention that before. So I'm sorry as of right now, but hopefully we can get back to you in a video.
All right.
If you have a follow-up to that, though, you know,
he says that it's pronounced Cupola. Q-U-P-O-L-A.
I'm going to have to look that up, and I'll come back in another video for you, probably, again, with that in-depth in the croaker. So,
Ken, and some measurement scenes for Titanic were filmed on the USS Jeremiah O'Brien. Some scenes from Greyhound were filmed on the USS Kidd. Any studio approaching the Buffalo Naval Club.
Oh, is this from Ken?
That is from Ken.
History X?
What was that? We had one, right?
Yeah, we've had a couple movies that have been filmed here. All right, Crossbreed. All right, these are kind of B movies. So Crossbreed was a futuristic movie. It did have Vivica Fox in it, though, which is interesting. So she was on board. And it's like a futuristic space movie. So they used the USS Little Rock as kind of like certain passageways on the spaceship. We also had a movie called 16 Days here that was filmed regarding the 16 days 3 sailors lived at during Pearl Harbor in the attack. I think it was the West Virginia, and they were trapped in a compartment for 16 days before they perished, and then they were found later. And that movie was filmed here, but that was like a college film. I think, I don't know how much they distributed that, but it's a Crossbreed. Check it out.
All right. Apparently, I am butchering the word cupola or cupola or however it's pronounced, so I do apologize.
Oh man,
I know. We will absolutely look this up. Zanon says it's on the second torpedo mount.
Does he mean like because torpedoes don't have mounts per se, right? Do you mean on the Sullivans, like the mount where the 5-inch gun is? That could be. If you're talking about a mount like the 5-inch, it wouldn't be the torpedo mount. It would be, and then there's the blast shield. I don't know, for the gun captain.
So Kilo 19 asks, is that the cylinder piece that looks like a feed silo? So maybe that's, maybe they're talking about the same thing.
Okay, yeah, Zanon, I'm going to have to get back to you on that. And Kilo 19, I'm going to have to get back to you on that as well. I'll start doing some research tonight about that, because that usually, I mean, this kind of gets to another conversation that when I came on board here, I didn't know much about the Navy at all. I mean, I knew very basic things, but I was not like a model monkey like some people are, like Brendan or Brian, if you've met him, when we're talking about the gun computers on the Little Rock and where did they go and how did they get them out. So if you've watched those videos, these guys have been studying the Navy and the ships, you know, for most of their lives. I, with my expertise and like Stephen, we can kind of go from topic to topic. So I can get a job, say, at a quilt museum, and I don't know anything about quilts, but I will begin learning about them by being in the collections.
Yeah, most of my academics was 19th century American history, so.
There you go.
But this is great. It's great that you guys are asking these questions, because this gives us something to look off, and we'll be able to present it to you, because, you know, unlike, I know Shane might like to think so, but he doesn't know everything. And,
oh yeah. Yeah, so thanks for that. Yeah, we're going to look that up, and I'm very humble. Unlike this guy.
Sorry for the trouble. No trouble at all. You know, we love that, because we love to research. It's our job.
Yeah, it's our job.
You can look for something new that we didn't know.
But even with John Branning, he taught me a lot in the 3.5 years that he was here. He was our senior chief. All right, hail to the senior chief. If you've watched that video on YouTube, And I talked about, he was 22 years in the Navy, but I don't remember him ever mentioning that equipment in either the forward or the aft torpedo room on the Croaker. And I visited the COD before, and I just haven't heard that. So we'll look into it. Don't worry. I'm not just blowing smoke.
Ken is totally down for some very shot stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's awesome, Ken. That's great. This will be a great joint video, like we've done in the past, and to keep the relationship going.
Yeah, that's great, and you know, making these friends and networking with other people.
Yeah.
We love doing that because you know, when you can learn off somebody and bounce off of each other,
Totally.
it is such a blessing because it's how we learn.
Totally. And these ships are so intricate. You know, before I do a video, I'm studying for 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I'm jotting notes. I'm trying to plan it all out. You know, Steven steps in sometimes if I need help with things. You know, a specific piece of equipment or something, and I'm just doing a larger, and he's going to do a specific piece. So he helps me out in that way, and the other staff as well all contribute. But these are so intricate, and that's the thing. I guess it's only time that makes us more experts. Right? I've been told, Shane, you know nothing because you were never in the Navy. All right, so, and I can't be retaliatory and be like, oh yeah, well, what the hell are you talking about? I'd say, you know what, you're right. And that's a very humbling thing to be told that I need to, you know, and whatever, but that's...
Okay, all right.
Is that good? Yeah.
You're asking me like we're about to cut, which we cannot cut when we're live.
Oh yeah, no, that's...
Right. Speaking of which, that can segue into our topic that we were going to discuss.
Okay.
About not being in the military and the hats.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. I hope you guys can hear Steven okay. He's kind of, you know, he's a little quiet. Must be that pizza that he had earlier.
Yeah, thanks, Paul.
Hello, Paul. So here's an example, right? You see me with these hats on before. So I was never, obviously, I was never in the Navy, all right? I had a different path, undergraduate, graduate, that sort of stuff. But I do choose to wear these caps with various ships on them. Steven, do you want to?
Yeah, so I choose not to, and that's just a personal choice, just because I never served. So I feel like, I don't know if it's that I don't have the right, it's more of a, I don't want to give an impression that I did, or I'm trying to say that I did. But that's just a personal thing.
Yeah.
Other people might feel differently about it, and I certainly don't judge Shane for that. And I judge him for other things, but not that.
Yeah, and this was, I wouldn't have touched a hat my first year. Now, this is USS the Sullivans, all right, DD 537, so I also have a John McCain, DDG 56, I believe it is. Certainly USS Buffalo, SSN 715. So for the first year of sending, I didn't wear anything like that. But now I do because I feel like I'm keeping the stories alive. So you're saying you did not serve, you know, maybe you don't feel comfortable doing that.
But, you know, that makes, you know, what you say makes sense. You know, we are not just historians, but we need to put forth what we're practicing, what we preach.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, everybody has personal different beliefs on it. I mean, personally, I choose not to because it's just something, you know, something I choose.
Yeah, no, that's right. I figure we tell the stories of the sailors. We try to talk about life on board. I've bled, I've cried, I've fallen, I've banged my head, you know, for these ships, and we are preserving the ships. So I feel it's not my duty to wear a cap, of course, but I feel after 4 years that I've kind of earned the right to wear a Sullivan's hat because of all the work that I and everyone else have done on her, that I feel proud to put on the cap of the Sullivans or the Little Rock or the Croaker, because I feel like I've contributed to her history as a museum ship, and it will continue to do so. If I had my druthers, I'd be here in a cane and a walker, and
soon enough.
Right, or I'll just hit the deck.
Right. So we do have some couple more comments. So Husky Studios asked a question, we'll get to that in a moment. A couple people, I think hats are cool for civilians, the ship's no longer in service, that's Kilo 19. He also says that it brings attention to the museum, which it absolutely does.
Yeah, that's true.
Ken says definitely wear the hats to keep the idea of the ships alive.
I like that, Ken.
And voice Jack would agree. Now, my father is watching, and he just sent over a video actually talking about the torpedo couples on the USS Kidd. So we'll have to check that out.
Oh, so we're talking a Fletcher class destroyer.
Yeah.
We're not talking the Croker.
No.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about the Croker and then torpedoed. I'm sorry. All right.
That might have got lost in translation as the questions were coming in and I'm bouncing into you. But we do have a video, so we will check that video out. And maybe next week that'll be something we bring up, or even spend a few minutes on it.
Yeah. We will do that. That's right. Next week when we go live. They had 2 quintuple torpedo tubes on the Sullivans, and now we have, I can't remember the mark, but we have the triple mount for the torpedo tubes, which were added in that 1959 refit. So there's the blast shield on those quintuples as well. So it's a pretty large mechanism, to deliver those torpedo tubes. But as of course, when she goes to the Pacific, submarines really aren't the threat, or potentially other ships. It's the airplane threat. So they decided to move those off and added more Gophers. And so that's where we get that. But thank you. I'm sorry. I was thinking it's on the Croker. So we'll have that for you next week. And hi.
Okay, we have a good question. Ken is asking a question. We'll get to that one question in a second. I want to get back to Husky Studios. What is our favorite room on any of the ships? Our favorite compartments besides offices? That'd be a nice one.
Do you have one?
I started as the caretaker of Little Rock, and I love every inch of that ship. I don't know. That's a good question. I might have to get back to that.
Yeah. Okay.
There are rooms that really have nothing to offer, that just something about the room. And a lot of the rooms that aren't on the tour, or there's no light in, like when we go down, one of my favorite rooms is with the lockers and all the graffiti, the New Jersey graffiti, right? The kids from Jersey and Philly, and they're kind of, bantering at each other, and that's what I love, because that brings the ship to life.
Yeah.
And to see what people, and there were all sorts of things.
Yeah, the sailor art, there's some graffiti in the lockers, and it was the fire control tech berthing. So that was in the aft of the Little Rock, and we kind of went down there. We did some filming, but we never put it on YouTube. So maybe we'll get back to that at some point. But yeah, when you see graffiti or FTN, all right, we won't say what that means, but there's a lot of that. And then there's a lot of the calendars that we see. There's a lot of the calendars that we see, the time to be discharged, and they're counting down the calendars. I know there's a name of that. I would have to say, I feel very close to the Sullivan's Memorial compartment on board, and I've been slowly over time really retooling that. That would be on the Sullivans, and that was originally the officer's wardroom. And, that the ship is so important, and the story of the Sullivan brothers is so important. And of course, the story leading up to today, what Alita Sullivan did, the 5 boys' mother, what Jimmy did, Albert's son throughout his life, and now what Kelly Sullivan is doing. So really, I feel great affinity for that compartment on board. The Croker, I love the mess deck because there's backgammon on the tables and stuff, and we put up a nice Marilyn Monroe picture that I found in a photograph in 1963. So taking a compartment and trying to bring it back to some authenticity will take a long time, but that's kind of my goals, is to take compartments back to what they used to look like.
So Eric Roper, how you doing, Eric?
Mr. Tedesco.
Eric Rover says New Jersey just showed a restoration on the kid, and I did just check the video. That is the one that was sent to us. It is from Brian. Brian posted a video on that. So
of the torpedo teams?
On the kid, yeah.
Oh,
so that's their video.
And that's one your dad sent?
He sent it, and Eric said the New Jersey just showed a video on that, and then I checked it, and it's the same video. So we're gonna check that out.
We are. And then we'll have, so is it the quintuple tubes? Did you kind of, they probably still have their quintuples from her original configuration. So that will be really cool. And we actually have the mount weld on the O1 level. The big circular weld that the mount would have gone for one of the quintuples, but not the actual components as well.
All right. Hoist Jack said that his favorite room is Captain's at Sea Cabin. I will say I do have another one. It is the sleeping quarters of the Admiral's quarters.
Oh yeah.
I'm a big fan of that, but that's mostly because when I stay on board is where I sleep.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, his berthing space is pretty cool. There's a head right there. Hoist Jack said the at-sea cabins?
Yeah.
Very cool. So yeah, we've got the at-sea cabins, well, on 2 of our 3 tourable vessels, right? So the in-port cabin for the captain is now our maintenance foreman's office, Alan, right? So you've probably met him in some videos. So that's the in-port cabin, and then you head up right after the pilot house on the O3 level on Little Rock is the at-sea cabin, and then certainly it's right in the bridge area, the pilot house on the Sullivans too. So those are really nice, and it kind of dictates where the captain needs to be at all times when they're at sea.
Yeah, Hoist Jack said I would sleep there too. I don't know if you just mentioned it, sorry, I was reading, but what office, your office was what?
Okay, so my office was the Admiral's Chief of Staff office. Okay, so that was, when the Admiral was on board, it's almost like having a president on board, right? The president has a Chief of Staff, governors and, mayors of cities and municipalities, Duke County executives. So my office currently is the Chief of Staff office, and I do have berthing and a head attached to my office too, so. That's nice, that's where I stay. I usually stay about 7 nights on board a year, 7, 8 nights on board. Especially when we're in the middle of summer and we're really ramping up, and there's a lot of, there's a lot of events going on. Some that go until 11 o'clock at night, and then things are starting at 7:30 in the morning.
So very common over the summer.
Yeah, very common over the summer here.
Especially when you live 45 minutes away, like I do.
That's right.
All right, so let's see. 30 and hating it, made it. Do you want to?
Yeah, 30 and hating it.
Said he told you made it, and he has. I'm gonna get back to his comment in a second. It's good.
How are we doing on time?
We got about 10 minutes left. We don't want to bore you guys to death and make you stick around longer than you need to, but this is actually been really fun.
Yeah.
And
I think it's really cool too.
So let's get to a couple more of these. Sullivan's is different from the kids' torpedo mount, so it'll be cool to see how they compare. And that's a good idea too, doing a
Who is that? Who is that?
Hoist the Jack.
Hoist the Jack, thank you very much. That is a great idea. I don't have a pen or a pencil on me right now, but I'm going to write that down in about 11 minutes because that is fabulous. Thank you very much. And I was a little worried when I first started the YouTube, or I didn't start the YouTube channel, but starting populating it with videos. I said, oh, comparison videos. So we did one with the Slater, we did one with the New Jersey.
The Johnston.
About the Johnston, yeah, USS Johnston. But then I said, we've got 3 very disparate ships right here. I could start comparing on each ship. Absolutely. Right? So we've kind of done that. I did that with the food delivery systems on board, the supplies.
All Navy ships, all Navy vessels,
yeah.
With totally different lives at sea.
Yeah, totally. Missions, different amounts of crew on board. But that will be pretty fabulous. I know Tim, who's the head guy, or I think he might be the superintendent of ships down at the USS Kidd. So maybe I can talk to him, or we'll watch that video, and then I can do a comparison just from, just using up here, and maybe photos of them down there. That's fabulous.
All right, Griffin Brown says hello, just wanted to stop by.
Hey, Griffin.
I say I'm a big fan of you guys, and I'm looking forward to the day I get to visit sometime. By sometime, I mean anytime I'm not drowning in homework. I know that feeling all too well. Ken says, he asked, are you guys going to be restoring the anchor on the croaker?
The anchor on the croaker? That is not in the plans as of right now. Is that part of the dirtiest jobs, Ken, that you want to do? Right now she's moored. Her anchor, we don't have an anchor in the water right now. She's moored. Listen, these are going to be very long-term projects, right, to bring them back. There's been a little neglect over the years, and that happens sometimes, but we want to really try and hit each ship, but that costs a lot of money and things like that. We also have the National Submarine Convention coming this year to Buffalo in 2022 in August. So we have small projects that we are going to work on for this national conference, and that's what we're focusing on the croaker for this season.
So submarines don't have anchors.
Yeah, they do.
That's what History X just said. Submarines don't have anchors.
There's something at the bow.
We'll look at it.
No? Oh, okay.
He got us, good.
No, there's an anchor. There's an anchor on it.
All right, let's see. Love
At
this
least
format
from
so far, very informative. Really digging the flags, pretty cool videos set up. Great format, love the Q&A. Not bored, this is great. So thanks guys, it's really, it's good.
Yeah, they would have. Go ahead. What else? Anything else? Were there other comments or anything?
Two more that I'm going to get to. We did have somebody ask anything listing at the moment, and we do have two.
Yeah, we've got, thank you for that. We are working on the Sullivans, as you probably know, and you've watched maybe the Bilge Snug videos. The croaker does have a hole in its anchor, all right, so that's a big deal. But no, the croaker has a hole in the 6A ballast tank, and we had our diver in the water this winter, or this summer, and he could not get to the hole. So we're going to have the crew that's working on the Sullivans check that out, pull her away from the pier a little bit, and then go there. But we do have some listing on the Sullivans and the croaker.
Your favorite World War II ship, other than the one you guys worked on?
Oh, man.
I mean, I have one, but it's a million reasons.
Go ahead.
USS Washington, which my grandfather was on.
Oh,
17 years old, and he decided he was going to join the Navy.
Nice.
Which I'm not sure about the legality of that at the time. Was 17 too young? Then?
Yeah,
I know that
parents.
Yeah.
Or they forged or something.
Yeah, but so yeah, USS Washington.
Battleship.
Yeah, there's two USS Washingtons actually. So I have to look up which one it is exactly.
Okay.
Ken says his is the USS Ward.
Oh yeah, the destroyer that fired the first shot at Pearl Harbor, right? Sank the midget sub in the harbor there, and that 5-inch gun mount is somewhere. I can't remember where it
By
is.
the anchor on the side.
No, I swear the croaker had an anchor, right? Because we've talked about it, like they would put it out.
All right, so I'm going to answer this one. Well, not answer it, but entertain it,
Yeah, go
because
ahead.
it's a fun one. And you have sworn off the Buffalo Bills.
Oh yeah, here we go.
30 and hating it wants to know, Tom Brady is applying for a job here, but he's retired.
You know, he would not rank high on our interview score sheet.
No.
Go ahead.
At least we have to. No, I don't even want to talk about the Bills. I still.
Well, they should trade Josh Allen. That's what they should do.
What are you talking about?
Trade him for this rookie quarterback. That guy's a rookie quarterback, isn't he?
Who?
From the Cincinnati Bengals, isn't he? a rookie?
Second year.
Oh, second year.
Second year.
Well, he's done something that Josh Allen has not. So
That is true. Well, takes a team, not just Josh Allen. But
okay, so we've got our homework to do for next week and our live next week, and I'm going to get Ken back for that at some point. But yeah, I'm going to do a little more research into that. And the torpedo tubes, I'm going to jot down that, do a comparison with the kid, and their quintuples and our triples, certainly later mark for ours, because they went World War II. They were like in the late 50s. So we have our work cut out for us. I hope you enjoyed that. How are we doing?
We're good. It's 8:47, so.
8:47?
Yeah, I figured 8:50 is a good time to start wrapping up.
Oh, okay. I thought we had. All right, good.
We go on tangents. That's what we do.
That's all right. No, I thought it was 10 minutes. 10 minutes ago. So.
So the USS Washington and my grandfather was on was the BB-56.
Okay.
And he also served at the same time as Ted Williams.
Is he out of Washington?
He wasn't out of Washington, but the ships would play baseball with each other. And
oh boy!
From what I'm told, he played like a pickup game with Ted Williams, which is insane.
Oh, nice! Wow, that's pretty amazing, isn't it? Was Ted Williams an officer? I don't know his history.
I don't know. That's a video we could do one day, maybe.
Yeah, because the Boston Red Sox are so like.
All right, he was in the military twice. He left. All right, you leave Major League Baseball, and granted, it wasn't $1 million paydays back then. But you're playing baseball.
Yeah.
You leave twice to go fight in
Yeah,
World War II, and I
absolutely.
want to say the Korean War as well.
All right. Yeah, that's yeah, that's noble. It's absolutely noble.
He was a captain in the Navy.
Okay.
And the Marine Corps Reserve. Fought World War II and the Korean War. He has the Naval Aviator Badge, Air Medal with 2 gold stars, Navy Unit Commendation, American Campaign Medal, Asiatic Pacific Campaign Medal with Bronze Star, World War II Victory Medal, Navy Occupation Service Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Korean Service Medal, United Nations, Korea, and the ROK Presidential Unit Citation. And then other work it says baseball player.
Other work, he was a baseball player. Only one of the best, I guess, right? No, but I mean, that's very noble. And there were a lot of sports guys back in the 40s that left their teams to go fight, right? So, you know, there's Bob Calzoo here in Buffalo. He was a Buffalo Bill, drafted from out of Oklahoma. I believe he was a guard. And he was killed in Vietnam, so he's up on our Wall of Fame at Highmark Stadium, I think it's called now, and we have a little display of him
Vietnam.
In the Vietnam compartment on board. Yeah, so and he
Shane
was
hates when I say room and not compartment.
there sometimes. But listen, it's interchangeable. You could say door, hatch, you know, things like that. Although hatches are the things in the deck, doors are the things that you walk through. You know, vertical or horizontal, but, you know, I interchange them, you know, sometimes just because I'm like that, I guess, but, yeah.
So Kilo 19 says Korean vets don't get the recognition they deserve, and that is, I don't want to say that's true, but it is a less talked about war. That is definitely something that you see that, but, I mean, we have Korean War veteran monument here.
Yeah.
And we have a Korean room as well. So Kilo, when you get a chance to come out here, you can check both of those out. But I could see how, you know, World War II and Vietnam, they get all the action and the coverage, and you know, I don't know
we
what
were.
it is, but
Well, we were very war weary, I think, with Korea. The Sullivans went there, you know, with 7 other destroyers and around the world cruise, and I think, thankfully, the veterans weren't treated like they were after Vietnam. We do, again, as Steve mentioned, in our memorial garden, we do have a monument, and then we have the pillar with all of the names of those Western New Yorkers that perished in that conflict, and based on year. So it's 1950, 51, 52, 53. So, and Vietnam, we're still making up for it today, you know, Vietnam vets. So it's...
So the Korean War compartment was not open last year due to our...
Correct.
Shortened, you know, our altered tour route, but I believe it will be open this year.
That's the goal. Yeah, that's the goal. And you know, combining into different ethnic backgrounds, we have a Hispanic monument, and there's the Burin-Caniers, which was the 65th Infantry that served with distinction in Korea. For many people from Puerto Rico, that was the first time they saw snow, and I believe it was the last bayonet charge. They were running out of ammunition, and they just put on their bayonets and just charged towards the North Koreans. and that may have been the last bayonet charge in history up until now, from then till now. And so they they were awarded the Congressional Gold Medal in 2014, and we have a copy of that, rendered, what is it called? It's not a remake, but we have not the real one, but replica, thank you. Jeez. A remake. We have a remake of the
We have a reboot,
Congressional Gold Medal.
Real quick. So we asked favorite room. What's your favorite exhibit? Exhibition, I should say. I get yelled at by that sometimes. Exhibit is a verb.
Oh man, don't do that. You're messing with my brain right now. So I like the Medal of Honor room, and that was Brendan was an intern. And he did that, say, October, November of last year. And that's what then was able to bring him on board as a full-time staff, because Stephen had moved up to the Director of Education, so we needed a caretaker. So that will be on the tour route this year, the Medal of Honor. I enjoyed learning about the citations of the Medal of Honor awardees. And I mean, that's just, of course, that's the highest honor. So, but I mean, there's so many. I mean, there's the World War II exhibit here I really like. Steven's working, he's got his hands in something here that he's working on that will be really exciting come this season. So, I mean, yeah, there's a lot.
There is a lot. Yeah. I'd have to say mine is probably the War of 1812, just because that's my...
It's your passion?
It's my passion, right? It's not just like, American history, that's what I went to school for, that's what I studied. But whatever it is, 19th century, it's always my focus. And because when you enjoy doing something, you love doing something. I'll do at night, I'll be going to Wikipedia rabbit hole about, whatever.
Yeah.
And War of 1812 has always been up there. Don't give up the ship. Maybe one day we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Great story.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great story with our boy Harry Hazard did, but unfortunately for his friend, it wasn't a happy ending.
Captain Lawrence, right?
Right.
James Lawrence, I think.
Because they gave up the ship about 15 minutes after we said that.
Right. Well, it's like the whole Titanic thing. I'll never let go. I'll never let go. Okay, Jack, I'll let go.
Yeah, there was room on that floor for him.
Totally.
All right. Yeah. So, you have another question?
Good.
How is the marine exhibit coming along?
Who asked that question?
411 Maintainer.
Thank you, 411 Maintainer. The men's department, as it's always, we like to colloquial call it, the Marine Detachment. That will be on the tour route this year. So they were doing some painting on the deck, things like that, because that really hasn't been open in about 2 years. So the maintenance crew is working to get it refreshed, and that will be open to the public. The Mardet, they had about 50 guys on board at any given time, and then when the Admiral would come on board, he'd have his own Marine detachment, and then that would balloon up to about 100 guys. All right, so that's on the third deck. So that's coming along, if that's what you're meaning.
Yeah, and our Marine, I love our Marine.
Yeah,
Very
John
well
Basilone. All right, he was born in Buffalo. In my office is his birth certificate, so he lived here for 2 or 3 years before his family moved to New Jersey. I think it was New Jersey. All right, so he's someone close to our hearts here. We have a very large portrait of him in the Marine Detachment compartment.
Very Canadian says, I was surprised to discover that my little hometown of Holland, New York, has a Civil War Medal of Honor recipient. And those are some great stories, right? You think of little towns that off the cuff,
yeah,
you don't think anything of it. But when you really, research. I live in a small town, and I love the history of the town that I live in. There's so much there, but it's off the map, and you don't think about it. But especially, we have a wall of Western New Yorkers that have served, and you could see all the different towns in Western New York that they're from. So when you live in a town and you discover somebody that was, a commended veteran or any veteran really, it's exciting. It's cool.
It is cool. And then you have to wonder what is, in this specific instance, what is Holland, what have they done? How have they commemorated this individual? I don't know if it was posthumously awarded or, you know, if he survived the action that got him awarded the Medal of Honor. But yeah, then you go deep dive and you go right down the rabbit hole, as Steven said earlier. And all right, shout out to Holland, New York. Right down the 400, folks.
So it's 8:57, so we're gonna wrap up. Although we are at the highest view count of the night right now,
Oh.
18, which is really
Oh,
cool.
that's cool. Hi all 18 of you. That's fabulous. Thanks for checking in. And again, we'll be doing this live. Let us know. I mean, maybe we don't want to sleep here all night on every Wednesday, but is 8 o'clock too early? Usually that's when we premiere our videos. So maybe 8:15 start. I don't know. But we hope you can join us again next Wednesday, right? So
yeah, so we're gonna post this video too if you want to show your friends or family or anything. Definitely invite them to next week's because this was a lot of fun. And we're gonna do it through February, and if it takes off, this is where it goes.
we'll continue to do it, you know, after the 28 and 28. So,
And if you don't know the 28 and 28 yet, why don't you go ahead and just go a
no,
little
why don't you, why don't you say?
It's your thing.
Oh,
All right.
yeah, there you go.
I know.
You do it.
Brooklyn just came out. So Shane and myself and Lauren McGuire, we are working on 28 videos in 28 days in February. So we're gonna have a video for you guys every day. On Wednesdays we'll be live, and you know, we look forward to hearing what you guys have to say, and hopefully, you know, give us more things to think about, and give us the motivation to keep pumping out these videos every day and every week. And I don't know if we'll do a 30 for 30 in March. ESPN might sue us. But
31 and 31 somewhere, but no, that's true. You know, I sit there in my office and say, okay, well, I've got a list of 14, 20 videos, but all of these comments that I check on our videos, I've gotten about 8 or 9 different suggestions that I would have never thought of. Again, you know, I try to keep my head wrapped around 3 different ships. What do they need to be preserved? What stories do they need to be told about them? You know, what are the engineering spaces? What are all those, you know, I didn't go to school for mechanical engineering, or, you know, I'm not an engineer, so I've tried to learn about, you know, flow and schematics and systems and things like that I wasn't naturally involved with. So these really help, and then it triggers, and I'm like, yes, that's fabulous. So it's really, this interaction is really great.
Yeah, this is fun. Everybody seems to be loving it, so we'll wrap up now. We will see you guys live next week. Go to bed, Cash.
Thanks, guys.
That was great.
Still recording.
I don't know, but I'm just gonna